Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I would like to present my research on affectionate love of the main character in John Green's Pemberton, Perspective of Literature and Psychology. Before I will start my presentation, I would like to say thank you to the all committee of ILA, Indonesia English Lecture Associations, and all of the participants in this conference and all members of ILA. And I also would like to say thank you to Mr. Daniel Ginting as the president of ILA. Okay, I would like to start my presentations. My research is about affectionate love of the main character in John Green's Pemberton's Perspective of Literature and Psychology. And me, the author, Gusti Ayu Madera Soniti. Introduction. In this research, John Green's Pemberton is chosen as the object because from reading the novel, we know all the stories about Pemberton. In my opinion, reading a novel is more interesting than watching a film because we can imagine how the story begins and can tell part of the story. John Green's Pemberton is chosen to be analyzed because the story is very, very fantastic. It has a unique main character in dealing with the psychology of the main character. Here, the story about how Quentin does everything to get Margot's love. And then, Pemberton is one of John Green's bestseller beside The Fault in Our Star. The story started from Quentin lost Margot and he tried to find her in every town in that story. Then other reasons of why John Green's Pemberton is chosen to be analyzed because the author, John Green, won many awards and the novel is one of his bestseller. The love that Quentin has toward Margot is very unique among the teenagers. And most of my students in Warmadewa University love the story. That's why I do my research on John Green Pemberton, particularly love is chosen because most of the problem of the students or teenagers are dealing with love. And then love is part of psychological study. The method of research. The method of research, first, the data source. The data source of this research are taken from John Green Pemberton. This novel is also available in the series of film. And then as a researcher, I also watch the film for several times in order to get the comprehensive meaning of the story. And then the collected data. The data in this research are collected by applying the method of library research and observation method. The library research was conducted by reading the novel carefully and repeatedly in order to find the specific data. After that, I quote all the data from the novel, especially about the affectionate love of the main character, Quentin, towards Margot. Meanwhile, the observation method is conducted through watching John Green's paper tone film for several times in order to get the comprehensive meaning of the story. Finally, all the data were developed in a form of analysis. Then the analysis data. The data that have been collected, then analyzed in this research through qualitative descriptive method. Qualitative descriptive method is primarily exploratory research. It was used to gain an understanding of underlying reasons, opinions, and motivation. Then the data was analyzed through theory of literature and theory of psychology. Firstly, the data was classified into its category. Then the data was presented in narrative descriptive way by giving an explanation in non-formal technique. This research was done by stating some definition, explanation, theories, and giving some examples in order to make the validity of this research. The examples were taken from the data in the novel. Finally, it was analyzed through psychological study because talking about love is found in psychological study. Further, we will continue to the analysis of the affectionate love of the main character in John Green's paper Town, perspective of literature and psychology. In this analysis, will be focused on the analysis of love that Quentin had toward Margot as the main character in John Green's paper Towns. The analysis would be related to the psychological study because talking about love, it would be related to psychological study. Moreover, this research tried to find out the affectionate love of Quentin towards Margot and also tried to find out the effects of the affectionate love towards Margot's behavior or personality. For more complete explanation about the above problems, it will be clearly described as the following explanations. First, Quentin's love given to Margot. Based on the story, the author told that Quentin is the main character and has a near relationship with Margot. In this case, the topic that will be discussed is about the Quentin's love given to Margot. There are three types of love that had been described by social psychologists are romantic love, affectionate love, and consummate love. The analysis starts from Quentin saw Margot standing outside his window. It can be seen from the quotation below. As I turned on my side, I saw Margot Road Spiegelman standing outside my window, her face almost pressed against the screen. I got up and opened the window, but the screen stayed between us, facilitating her. John Green, 2010 and page 6. From the quotation above, it can be seen that Quentin saw Margot in his window. It means Margot near from his house, or Margot is his neighbor. And the love that given to Margot is about the near relationship, like a best friend. The affectionate love of Quentin to Margot. Quentin has a deep and caring affection with Margot. It proves because Quentin and Margot was best friends when Quentin and Margot were 9. The type of love of Quentin and Margot is affectionate because he desires to have the other person near and has a deep caring affection to Margot. The caring affection that Quentin to Margot can be seen from the quotation below. Here, the affectionate love means that the desires to have the other person near and has a deep feeling, caring, affection for someone. That is the definition of affectionate love. Here the quotation, you can't force Margot, the person from Margot, the body, can see one without seeing the other. You look at Margot's eyes and you say both the blueness and the Margotness. In the end, you couldn't say that Margot Road Splingman was fat or that she was skinny any more than you can say that the Eiffel Tower is or is not lonely. Margot's beauty was a kind of shield, vessel of perfection, uncracked and uncrackable. John Green, 2010, page 50. From the quotation above, it can be seen that Quentin is carrying affection to Margot. The causal factor of affection is social psychology. It happens when Quentin, as the main character and also the important actor that describes the story, tells about physical of Margot. It can be proved that Quentin is carrying affection with Margot. The effects of his relationship toward Margot's behavior. Margot has a near relationship with Quentin. She was a neighbor since kindergarten. And also Margot and Quentin so close relationship. Margot and Quentin was best friend. And that's make Margot felt comfort. Margot is tired with all of fake people in the paper towns. She have lived for 18 years in her town and she doesn't like the people in that town. But not all of the situation of the town Margot like. It can be seen from the quotation below. It's a paper town. I mean, look at it. Q. The nickname of Quentin is Q. Look at all those cul-de-sacs, the street that turn in on themselves, all the houses that were built to fall apart, all those people living in their paper house, burning the future to stay warm, all the paper kids drinking beer some bums bought for them at the paper convenience store. Everyone demanded with the mania of owning things, all the things paper thin and paper frail, and all the people too. I've lived here for 18 years and I have never once in my life come across anyone who cares about anything that matters. John Green, 2010, page 58. Based on the quotation above, it can be seen that the author described about Margot's problems, and Margot shares it to Quentin because she's tired with all the fake people in the world. She didn't like the town because the town is full of fake people in the paper towns. After the above analysis, now we come to the conclusions. After describing clearly the affectionate love of Quentin towards Margot and the effects of the love toward Margot's behavior in the previous analysis, it can be found some significant points as the final conclusions. Based on the basic role of the character, it is clear that Quentin Jacobson is the main character of the story. Quentin is a teenager that has many problems in his life, and he is considered to have caring affection with Margot. In the story, the affection is proving about the bigger love of Quentin to Margot. It means Quentin loved to Margot very much. Because from the analysis, Margot and Quentin were best friends when they were 9 years old. In the important role, Margot is the supporting character that has a close relationship with the main character as known as Quentin Jacobson. According to social psychology, the types of love that Quentin given to Margot belongs to affectionate love. because in the story, the author described Quentin is desires to have Margot near and has a deep, caring affection for Margot. And in the end of the story, the author described also that Quentin loved Margot so much, but Margot doesn't love him. Finally, the effects of his relationship toward Margot's behavior is when Margot left the town because she was tired of the situation in her town, and it also can be the reason about the effect of his relationship toward Margot's behavior. His in the question is Quentin as the main character and who has a close relationship with Margot in the story. The effects of his relationship toward Margot's behavior is also when Quentin has found Margot in Agloe. She doesn't want someone else to know that she was left the town. But in the reality, Quentin knows it and it gives effect of his relationship with Margot. Okay, that's all my presentations on my research with the theme or topic of affectionate love of the main characters in John Green's Paper Town, perspective of literature and psychology. I really hope the revised advice and suggestions in order to improve my research. Thank you.